actually recording. It is recording. Take 2 while recording. Take 1 was not hitting. Are you sure you want to record? Oh my goodness. I hit record. I just didn't see that it hadn't turned or made any indication or seen that it was recording. So now I'm recording. This is an intro, or what do you call it? I'm going to stumble all over myself in finding the words for this. It's not a review, doggone it. It's a trailer for my channel and what I'm going to do with my channel and where I'm going from here, rather than just doing a hodgepodge and throwing up whatever spaghetti or pasta noodles I've got to the wall to stick. That's a nice way of putting it. Anywho, so there's a number of things I want to work on, but in priority, and I kind of got the sense of that the first time I record this, so I'll try to summarize it, make it simpler instead of getting all theological and hypothetical with it. So, number 1, or no, here we go. There are 2 things. I want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone in doing this, in utilizing my channel. So, and that is honing my skills with speaking the Doric dialect of Northeast Scotland, the Scots dialect of Northeast Scotland, because that's where my grandfather come from. And I won't bore you with all the heritage story about that for the Scots back across the pond, so to say. But that's driving me anyway. That's my love for it comes from my heritage. So, but I want to I want to get that and share that, or grasp it better, so that I can share it more and utilize it with my shtick, my stage character or portrayal in my interactive performance in promoting my production company, Clearview Celtic Productions. So I'll be producing content where I'm immersing myself and practicing, reading, conversing. Did I say conversing? Yeah, I may have said conversing. Conversing, reading, conversating. Yeah, conversing and conversating, that's more or less the same, isn't it? So I did say it, but in a different way. And there are 3 things or avenues that I can exercise that while at the same time producing content for my audience. Boy, sometimes it's hard to skip from rock to rock between the things I'm trying to remember or catch hold of the thoughts. I always say, or I've always said jokingly, I only have so much space between the rocks in my head for storing information. And now sometimes I feel like I'm skipping from rock to rock. Kind of like when growing up on the farm among the coos, stepping across the mounds of green grass between the trails and the paths that the cows would stomp down and create, which always, and then the fascinating thing was they would chew on them. They're like little plateaus and projections, or what do you call it? Yeah, projections. That word, juts from the land and the muck and the mire. So, well, there I have it. So that's the other thing. Telling stories, that's part of the other thing. But a lot of that's going to be within the podcast, my solo podcast, and while using what I have, which is a fairly nice collection of fur specimens that I've collected over the years while working as a a skinner or wild-caught fur processor in this area, this northeast South Dakota region. So we'll be utilizing that, or using that. I use that word a lot, utilizing and utilizing. Yeah, how about that? That's a new word. So we're doing a podcast and a public reading for starters. Those are the two most exciting things that I'm excited about, especially for the fact that I get to delve more into my study of the book of Revelations. And that's really fascinating, because I was told, it's been said, or would you believe, and something to consider, that the book of Revelation is not only one vision, but a collection of 7 visions. And after I had heard that, I made attempts to decipher that and make sense of it, especially with the consideration that they held the historicism, eschatological view of the book of Revelation. And the historicism perspective views the book of Revelation as a expansion of time, and that it covers a number of eras. Now, this is always disregarded or lightly tossed aside, or easily, like loftily, just kind of, this is how they viewed it a long time ago, and they're so discombobulated, and they had no idea of when they were, and they thought it was the end, and this is the end. This is the end. They've been saying this is the end for a long, long time. But that does not negate our duty to be pure as He is pure, and continue to better ourselves and be like Him, not in a haughty, high, pompous, religious, pompous, or what do you call that word? Hakey look about yourself, and looking down your nose at others, and browbeaten with your doctrines, and having disputes over petty things, inconsequential things. So, going off the rails with that bit, it boils down to looking at it in an altogether different manner. And when you look at the different overlaying items that transpire in those 7 visions, 5 of those visions mention the current time period. So in mention of perhaps 1, 2, or 3, a few, or all 7 time periods within each vision, it's easily miscomprehended or understood. I dislike that word, understood or misunderstood. They're not grasping it. You can only grasp so much by looking at it from one angle. And from this perspective, and looking at it from this angle, and seeing that 5 of the 7 visions mention things that transpire in the current time period with the historicism perspective, you see that there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot that we can hope for, and it's not just some pie in the sky, but it's current day. And I see a turning point for the better, and I'm looking forward to that So that's just a little touch on it without being too wordy. I could go on and on, but I want to keep this within reasonable time. Is there a time clock? Oh, we're about halfway there. So maybe I can close this up, but not quite. There's 2 other items. I'm going to cheat and look at my card here. Okay, so that covers the content. Oh, for that. So the reads on Sunday. The podcast. Okay, now here are the other 2. Tech Tuesday. For that's just getting, for anybody that might be interested in the equipment that I use and how I use it for making affiliate, trying to make the transition of making income otherwise, because when things aren't working the way they used to, you have to pick up and find another way. So that's what I'm doing. This is part of that, making that transition into being at full time interact. Oh my goodness. So we're doing the Tech Tuesdays and a newsletter, which will showcase what I'm currently working on in making this transition on my LinkedIn platform space. So with that, be encouraged, be of good cheer, and endure to the end. Till next time, bye for now.